Welcome to Flash Frights. You're listening to the Fan2Fan Podcast. Flash Frights, you're listening to the Fan2Fan Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Bernie Gonzalez. With me, as always, fellow co-host Pete Charbonneau. And it's spooky season. We're putting together our to-watch list, our late-night movies to watch. And always, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, they're staples on the list. They're part of the Mount Rushmore. Throw in your Chuckies and your Pinheads. You're going to have a good time. So we want to throw out some maybe under-the-radar picks, some recommendations that you can put on your spooky season to-watch list. And I'm going to throw one out there, 2024's Mr. Crocket.
Son, check this out. I got something for you.
Welcome to Mr. Crocket's World!
A friend like you is a friend like me.
Whenever you're in trouble.
He's coming! He must be watching us. He's killing parents and taking more kids.
Go on, my child. This is my house now.
Take deep breaths.
Mr. Crocket is on Hulu. During spooky season, during Halloween, we get to see all the streamers kind of put out, their scary movie. I think Hubie Halloween was a Netflix movie. Hulu seems to dedicate at least some budget towards scary films and trying to do like Hulu originals that are
called like Huluween or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Huluween. And I think this is the third or fourth year that they've done it. And after watching Mr. Crocket, was not disappointed. The elevator pitch for this Halloween horror flick would be, it's this 90s kids show in the vein of Pee-wee Herman. Mr. Rogers meets Candyman and Freddy Krueger. You have this Mr. Crocket, who's again kind of like an analog for Pee-wee's Playhouse, with funky, earwormy type songs. Eat your vegetables and follow what your parents say.
You know what you gotta do when you see fruits and vegetables in front of you, right? You know the answer. You got to eat right. You got to eat well. Take a great big bite. It's so good for your health. You got to eat right. You got to eat well. Take a great big bite. It's so good for your health. Fruits and vegetables that make your body strong. All of that junk food, they do your body wrong. Fruits and vegetables that make your body strong. But beware of that junk food, they do your body wrong.
They're done so authentically. This the main character that we see, she's just having a tough time raising her child after the death of the father. And she's willing to resort to anything to find some peace of mind, not only for herself, but also for her son. She walks outside and magically there's a lending library there. She finds a VHS of this show called like Mr. Crockett's Neighborhood, something like that. And she plays it. And then the kid is engrossed to the point where he is obsessing over rewatching the show over and over and over again. And she's like, good, I found some modicum of peace. But she starts realizing this is obviously a bit too obsessive. He's not playing his video games anymore. When she says go to bed, she wakes up and she realizes that he's still watching it or he turned it back on. And that's when she starts realizing that there's something else going on, takes the tape away from her son, and then he starts becoming violent. We do get the reveal very quickly. We all know Mr. Crocket, probably not the Mr. Rogers we would want him to be, and that there is something else going on here because the actor who plays the character Mr. Crocket, Elvis Nolasco, he does such a fantastic job in that performance. Equal parts Freddy, tongue-in-cheek with the wit, with the humor, but it's evil. Does such a good job just chewing the scenery and having fun with it that even when the movie kind of trips up on itself a little bit, you're on the ride with him. He is the star. Other kids have now gotten access to this tape, and this Mr. Crocket is pulling kids into the TV and bringing them into his world. There's so much more going on there. There's these supernatural elements that are never fully resolved. That's probably one of my criticisms in the movie. I think it would have probably benefited from a bit more ambiguity, but because they do such a good job in putting together the world of Mr. Crocket, the songs, the cheap animatronics, the puppets, the furniture that talks, everything that we remember from Pee-wee Herman, Bill Nye, Beakman's World, things that we grew up watching, they work here, kind of what we saw in Late Night with the Devil, Pete, where they took something that we remember fondly in late night TV and just used that as like a medium to deliver a demon possession exorcist story. We remember Johnny Carson and watching those things. It's like, oh, the sidekick. Oh yeah, this all makes sense. This all feels so authentic. They did a good job with this. And then they threw in those extra little things about a parent struggling to raise their kid, being overwhelmed with raising their kid. How some parents, may feel like they're just like, I'm done. Like, I don't know how to do this anymore. And I'm just going to give up my kid to the video game, or in this case, a VHS that's willing to essentially entertain their kid long enough to give them a bit of peace. So there's something here. This is a little bit of a potential cult classic to be.
And you had sent me the trailer to watch, because I have not seen the film, but I did get to catch the trailer. And after initially being confused, because I thought you sent me the trailer, Mr. Crocket being a documentary about Don Johnson's portrayal as Sonny Crockett in Miami Vice.
That's right.
Once I realized it was not that, took me about 1:15 of like the minute 30 of the trailer to finally catch on. But
it's a long time.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was having a slow day, Bernie. I don't know what happened there. It was striking me very much, all the references that you mentioned, definitely elements that struck me of like The Ring with like the tape getting passed around a little bit. And I have to think that as a screenwriter or just in part of the production, like if you're making a film like this that revolves around like a Pee-wee's Playhouse type show, introducing those earworm songs that kids are going to kind of get addicted to.
And that parents are going to be forced to listen to a million times.
Yeah, right, exactly, yeah.
You won't strike gold from digging up your nose. It won't taste great adding boogers to your plate. It won't strike gold from digging up your nose. It won't taste great adding boogers to your plate.
But I think that takes a certain amount of skill for something, because you can do it and have it fall totally flat, and then your film is kind of screwed, or it can even be like a little too on the nose. I think finding that right balance of like, yes, this sounds very authentic, but still like, oh, that's kind of brilliant that they're able to kind of craft these little jingles for, what I have to imagine is a fairly low budget film.
I'm going to guess Halloween movies don't get much more than 1 or 2 million best.
Yeah.
But I think, to your point, when we saw Late Night with the Devil, it felt right. It sounded right. It looked right. If not, it would have taken us out of the world of late night.
Right.
We've talked about like Spinal Tap. If Spinal Tap songs weren't legitimately good, it would have been a great comedy, but I don't think it would have been as great as the Spinal Tap we've grown up with.
Sure.
They did such a good job with that. The aesthetics, like you said, the talent that's involved in making it feel right. They even have like some really cheesy 80s, 90s animation that's used in a very smart, strategic, budget conscious way to tell Mr. Crockett's origin. I'll just say that. And I think because they were strategic in using the animation for that, you could kind of get away with probably moving the budget towards other practical effects, which again, for a streaming original film that's pretty small budget for the Halloween season, the fact that it had practical effects. Yes, sometimes it's a little clunky, but you could definitely tell there's something there. I don't know if he's going to end up rising beyond Hulu, beyond a streaming movie.
That sounds like it's something that could easily be turned into, if not a franchise, they could maybe turn out a few of them, especially if it does well on streaming. Again, like if you're plunking down $1 million, $2 million in budget, not a ton of money for making a film like that, to invest in something like that if they're getting good word of mouth, good buzz.
The other thing too that I'll mention before I've got one more to mention beyond this one is the fact that we rarely see a lot of like urban horror. Mm-hmm. When I think of the slashers, Scream, even Nightmare on Elm Street, those were like suburban horrors. Like they happened in cul-de-sacs. Certainly Halloween, 1978. And then if it wasn't like a suburban cul-de-sac, it was in a rural area, a cabin, Crystal Lake, somewhere where you felt isolation. And that was part of the DNA of the fear, because it would take you a long time to get to a police station. And very rarely, except, again, Candyman and the remaking Candyman, those are the two that immediately come to mind. And being a Chicago native, obviously those kind of have always been imprinted on me. You don't see a lot of legitimate urban horror, especially in a world where, for the most part, it's slashers in the suburbs.